Go back to Intermedia, and today I have a completely different video than I've ever made for you guys. I know I usually say that sometimes when I make videos like this, but this time I really mean it because I don't know if you guys know what a video essay is. It's like sometimes what something like somebody puts on their channel to talk about a specific character in a specific movie. Well, in this video, I'll be talking about Rocket Raccoon from the Guardians of the Galaxy in honor of Volume 3 releasing next week. But this video isn't just going to be me talking about Rocket Raccoon because that would be boring. It's going to be me talking about why he is the saddest creature in the MCU and how that affects his character and how that's like been beautifully written in the past few movies and how he is the best written MCU character in my opinion, and just getting into more like of his past and how that connects to these two things of like him like being written so well and just how like sad he is and how you can see that in most of the movies, specifically in Volume 2. But I'm not going to waste any more time. I'll just get into the video right now, so let's go. Rocket Raccoon, the tough guy who thinks he's better than everybody and blows up moons for fun, has, in my opinion, one of the saddest pasts in the whole entire galaxy, which we're all going to cry over in Guardians 3 once we actually see scenes of his past and how traumatizing it was for him, and how that made him who he is today. Because in Volume 1 and 2, as somebody who's watched both of those movies plenty of times, you can tell that most of the time there's a deeper meaning or like deeper just expression to almost everything that he says, and he's just a wise, like, he cracks jokes all the time and stuff just to cover up all of like his trauma and like sadness and everything. And this really comes to light in Volume 2, and specifically with Yondu, because Yondu is really the one that really reveals all this stuff for him and makes him actually face his problems, because whenever he tries to be loved, he always pushes people away. And I think the clip to me that stands out the most in all the movies of Rocket that really showcases all this stuff and really kind of like kickstarts us experimenting and like thinking about his past and everything is when him, Drax, and Groot are kind of like fighting in the bar in Volume 1 and are drunk and stuff. And then Rocket basically says this.
Oh, keep calling me vermin, tough guy. You just want to laugh at me like everyone else.
Rocket, you're drunk, all right? No one's laughing at you.
He thinks I'm some stupid thing. He does. Well, I didn't ask to get made. I didn't ask to be torn apart and put back together over and over and turned into some little monster.
Rocket, no one's calling you a monster.
He called me vermin. She called me rodent.
Now, like I said before, that clip really is the first time that we see Rocket being kind of like emotional and kind of just being like, just like unable to control like how he feels about his past. But him being sad and stuff isn't the only emotion that we see kind of like come to light with his character. Because at the end of Volume 1, you could kind of tell that he was kind of scared. He was scared of Ronan and angry when Groot died. I would say he's less scared and more angry, but over the course of the movies, like in Infinity War, he really is scared of Thanos, which is why he goes with Thor, because that's away from Thanos. And he's even more scared in Endgame because Thanos was the cause of him losing the only family that he ever had. And in Volume 3, he's going to be scared of the High Evolutionary because that was the person that traumatized him as a child and just basically changed his whole life with his past that he did not ask for and is not grateful for. Now, I know I'm kind of repeating myself and I keep saying that like these moments are what kickstart seeing his emotions and stuff, but all these moments are really just like showcasing how like really written this character is, because he's like he's a basic character where he like tries to be tougher and more stronger than everybody else, but then he really is scared on the inside, like of Thanos and Infinity War, like I mentioned before. But he's also scared just because of how like his past has changed him and how much like he like regrets everything. And I really do feel like we get a ton more of that in Volume 2, more specifically in this one scene that we see when Yondu and Rocket are arguing, where they really, really like realize that they're both basically the same exact person, just one's a raccoon and one's Yondu.
What are you laughing at me for?
You can fool yourself and everyone else, but you can't fool me. I know who you are.
You don't know anything about me, loser.
I know everything about you. I know you play like you're the meanest and the hardest, but actually you're the most scared of all.
Shut up!
I know you steal batteries you don't need, and you push away anyone who's willing to put up with you, because just a little bit of love reminds you how big and empty that hole inside you actually is.
I said shut up!
I know them scientists what made you never gave a rat's ass about you.
I'm serious, dude!
Just like my own damn parents who sold me, your own little baby, into slavery. I know who you are, boy, because you're me.
Now, I think that clip is basically perfect for describing Rocket because I could not have said it better. Yondu basically hit the nail right on the head with that one. But that moment with Yondu and Rocket is really what kind of like makes him more appreciative of his Guardians family that he has, which is just what sets off all the emotions in Volume 3, with us actually learning about his past and the Guardians having to go save his life. And I do believe that all the emotions and everything that we see in Guardians 3 from Rocket and the Guardians are going to be probably the most emotional that they've ever been, just surrounding Rocket in that one story. And everything that we've led up to from Guardians 1 with that one clip that I showed you earlier to Volume 2, Infinity War Endgame, everything has led up to Rocket's past, which is what I'm going to be getting into now, and why I think that the past is going to be like some of the most like emotional that some of the most emotional stuff that we've ever seen from the MCU, and probably the most emotional past like that we've ever seen from a character. Rocket's past, as we've been seeing in the trailers for Volume 3, looks extremely sad, and we can all make out what the basics of it are, which is that Rocket was a normal raccoon or rat, whatever you want to call him, until the High Evolutionary came along, took him to do experimenting on, which is what caused him to be who he is today, and basically be the grumpy raccoon that he is today, and just like not be happy most of the time, and just kind of cover that up by being like a jerk to everybody and just being kind of like a wise ass. Now that is the most basic summary that I could give for Rocket's past because we don't know everything about it yet, but we're probably going to learn more about it when the movie comes out and maybe even before the movie comes out, but I doubt that. But the one thing that I haven't touched on yet about why Rocket acts the way he is, why I think he is the way he is, and basically maybe the main reason how he escaped from the High Evolutionary is Lila, and I'm going to get into that now. So if you guys have done the research like me, or have just watched the trailers, or have read the comics and know that Lila is Rocket's love of his life, she basically would know that she's probably going to be Rocket's main motivation and his main purpose to live in this universe until he met the Guardians in Volume 1. But I think that Lila could very well be the reason that motivates Rocket to escape the High Evolutionary. And I have a theory for Volume 3 that when Baby Rocket does escape, which I think that will 100% happen in the flashbacks, I think that Lila is going to suffer the consequences of that and die, but he won't know that until he goes back in this movie and sees that, and that's going to make him devastated and want to kill the High Evolutionary, which they probably will. But I think that him thinking that Lila is still out there before he met the Guardians, I think that him thinking that Lila is still out there was probably the one little string of hope that he was hanging on to really keep him going and motivated and stuff, obviously, until he met his found family, the Guardians of the Galaxy. And if you guys have been watching the TV spots recently, you can really tell that Rocket is like becoming more emotional, and you see like less jokey stuff from him in the trailers, which obviously will still be some stuff in the trailers or in the movie that like is joking. But I feel like once he enters the High Evolutionary ship or place wherever he is, I really do feel like that's going to shift the whole tone, and he's going to like be more serious when he's returning back to that place that really traumatized him, and he probably would be looking for Lila because I'm going to assume that he assumes that she's alive. But like I said, I think she's going to be dead. But we'll see. I am just very excited to see Lila in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 because I feel like everything that we're going to see is going to be extremely sad when we see the flashbacks to her and Rocket's past. And with Rocket's traumatizing past and everything we've seen from him hiding it and covering up with his emotions, with his like just jokey kind of like tough guy stuff, is also why I think Rocket is one of the best written characters in the MCU. And part of that has to do with James Gunn and his genius mind and how he's able to craft such an emotional story for one character, and just he's able to make us emotional over a raccoon. I just think that that is unbelievably like genius, and I just love James Gunn because he's able to like craft these perfect movies that have emotion in it, but it's always like, I feel like he even said this himself, it's always like mainly focused around Rocket. I feel like the Guardians have been mainly centered around Rocket and just how he's acted and everything, because he is kind of a jerk to them sometimes. But we know the deeper meaning to that because of his past. We won't know everything until we actually see the movie, but we know why he's like this. And I think that just this movie is going to be super emotional for us to handle, maybe even too emotional for us to handle, because I think that Rocket may die in this movie, because we do see that one shot of Star Lord, Mantis, and Groot like crying in the same room. That looks like Rocket is going to be in there, but I'm not sure. Very excited for this movie. Um, but yeah, I think that Rocket is one of the best written characters in the MCU for all those reasons. Number one, you have James Gunn, who is just brilliant. Everything that he's done that I've seen is just amazing. The Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, the Guardians movies, everything. Um, and just like how like you can just see it in Rocket's face sometimes that he's just hiding something. And they all know that it's kind of like a sad past, but he's just hiding something that he doesn't want to talk about, but he's going to have to face in volume 3, and he's going to have to confront his past, and he's going to probably not take it very well, because especially like I said before with my theory, if he finds out Lila's dead, he's not going to take that well. He's going to want to kill the High Evolutionary, and he's already formed so many friendships that he doesn't want to lose any of them. Like, he already lost Yondu in Guardians 2 when he was just starting to connect with him, but I don't think he wants to lose anybody else, which is why I think Rocket may sacrifice himself, because after everything they've been through, he is kind of a jerk, but he really does love them and they love him. So he would probably be willing to sacrifice himself, especially when he goes back to the High Evolutionary and just witnesses, probably relives his past through his eyes, when once he sees all the animals and stuff in the cages, and once he sees the High Evolutionary himself. But I do think that he's probably going to get captured, but that's a whole different video. But yeah, before I end the video, I just want to praise James Gunn and say how like grateful I am that he created these movies, because not only can I relate to Rocket Raccoon, he can too, and I'm sure a bunch of other people can as well. And I'm not ready for their stories to be over. I'm not ready to see Rocket's emotional past, but I just think that every single character from Guardians 3, from the Guardians in general, have just been written so beautifully and perfectly that I just couldn't shy over it, especially with Rocket, which is why I made this video, especially because the whole movie is about Rocket, and the whole trilogy essentially is about him too. It's mainly about the Guardians, but you get the deeper meaning of it with Rocket. But yeah, I think that'll do it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed me talking about Rocket, and I hope you guys are as excited for Volume 3 as I am. Stay tuned for some Guardians of the Galaxy 3 videos coming this week, because those are probably going to be almost the only videos that I post besides my weekly reviews and stuff, which you all know. But let me know if you want to see a video like this, because I'm already planning a second one that has to do with Guardians, but I can't record it until after Volume 3. So let me know if you want to see more of these, because I had a ton of fun making it. So yeah, my review for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will be out next Thursday. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, make sure to subscribe, guys. Peace.